Have you ever been right in the middle of saying something that truly mattered, an idea you've been shaping for weeks? A story tied to your heart, and someone slices in, grabs the air, and your words fall to the floor? It happens in meetings, over coffee with friends, even in the tender spaces of home. The real question isn't whether it happens, it's what you do in that instant. Do you go quiet and fade into the wallpaper? Do you give a small, apologetic smile and murmur, "Sorry, go ahead"? It seems harmless. It isn't. Every surrendered moment teaches the room how much your voice deserves to be heard. Every time you shrink, you train the world to treat your message as optional. Here's the deeper truth. This isn't only about interruptions. It's about power, presence, and respect. Today on Stoicism Drive, you'll learn a timeless, practical approach. Just 3 short words that can halt an interruption, reset the room, and return attention to you without aggression or drama. They're simple, but not trivial. Use them with calm authority and you won't have to raise your voice to be heard, you'll command it. Stay with me until the end, because once these words are in your toolkit, you'll stop wrestling for airtime and start directing the room. Before we start, hit subscribe to join Stoicism Drive, where we practice steady minds, strong speech, and unshakable character. Ready? Let's begin with why language has always been a lever of power in Stoic thinking, and why. Used well, it can change how people treat you. Part 1. Words and Power. Ancient thinkers knew a simple truth. Language can move people and shape outcomes. A single promise can ignite conflict. One clear command at the right moment can spare countless losses. Stoic writers emphasized that brevity paired with composure often carries more force than the loudest clamor. Not volume, not noise, authority. That principle hasn't aged. Power no longer rests in shields or banners, it lives in the way we speak. In a meeting, if you can't hold attention, your ideas disappear before they're even considered. In a negotiation, if you can't stand your ground calmly, your position dissolves in a wave of stronger voices. Even in love, if you can't steady your tone, your needs are quietly overlooked. And most of us, without noticing, hand our power away. We smile awkwardly, we soften, we yield, then we send a message, "My voice matters less." Stoic practice reminds us to cling to what is essential and refuse distraction. If you won't guard the essential in your own words, others will casually walk off with it. Ask yourself, when I speak, do I carry the weight of someone who believes what they're saying matters? Or do I present my thoughts like a suggestion in the margins? Reclaiming presence doesn't require sharp elbows. It requires precise language. So how do you regain the room without shouting or bristling? Start with the first word. It's so ordinary people miss its edge. Part 2. The first word. Listen. Why is listen so potent? Psychologists call it an orienting signal. Say it, and the brain shifts, stops, focuses, and prepares for meaning. Picture a heated meeting, voices overlapping, everyone jockeying for space. You don't slam the table. You don't compete for volume. You say, calmly and clearly, "Listen. Here's what needs to happen first." The noise thins, heads turn, not because you threatened anyone, but because listen is a gentle command our minds are wired to obey. Teachers, leaders, and guides across centuries have used this move. Pause, scan the room, and soften into a firm listen. Order returns. Silence becomes an ally. In crowded squares and quiet halls alike, entire groups lean forward when the speaker begins with listen. It signals relevance without theatrics. It also sets a boundary without blame. You aren't calling anyone rude, you're calling everyone to attention. Try these variations in your own voice. Listen. Here's the sequence we'll follow. Listen. I want to make this crystal clear. Listen. This part affects the deadline. Each one signals importance before you deliver content. You're not begging for the floor. You are declaring presence. But attention alone slips away unless it's anchored to meaning. You must show why your words deserve priority. That's where the second word reshapes the hierarchy of any conversation. Part 3. The second word. Important. Interruptions thrive on a hidden assumption. What I'm saying matters more than what you're saying. The moment you introduce important, that assumption cracks. The brain reorders priorities. Focus sharpens. Try this. Someone cuts in while you present an idea. Instead of shrinking, you say, evenly, the important point is this. Notice what happens. The interruption loses momentum. Few people want to be the one who ignores what's important. Clarity around importance slices through chatter. In tense councils and on busy streets, people naturally lean toward what matters most. In daily life, this sounds like, what's important here is that I explain the reason first. Or, the important detail I was about to add changes the decision. You're not merely competing for attention, you're defining where attention belongs. You take the steering wheel of the conversation and set direction. To strengthen this move, give the importance a quick label. The important risk is scope creep. The important benefit is faster response time. The important boundary is our budget cap. A labeled, important, turns a vague priority into a vivid one. And vivid ideas are far harder to interrupt. Still, importance can feel abstract if it floats untethered. People may nod and drift. To truly command presence, you must tie importance to time, bring it out of the clouds and into the moment. That is the work of the third word. Part 4. The third word, now. Later is slippery. Tomorrow can be postponed. Now cannot be brushed aside. Say now. And attention snaps to the only moment you can actually use. Stoic thought divides life into what was, what will be, and what is. Only one of those is truly yours, the present. That's why now is powerful. It refuses to let meaning evaporate into a foggy future. Imagine being interrupted mid-thought. Instead of retreating, you say, now, let me finish this. It's not a plea, it's a boundary. The other person halts because now doesn't give room to drift. Coaches and commanders rely on the same urgency, not soon. Not later, now. Because urgency commands action. Use these lines to land the moment. Now, hear the rest of my point. Now, focus on this part, it's the hinge. Now, I'll connect the dots. Short, clean, undeniable. With listen, you gather attention. With important, you set priority. With now, you anchor presence. Combined, they replace the momentum of interruption with your own steady cadence. Spoken with composure, these words feel less like force and more like gravity. But knowing the words isn't enough. There's a trap that quietly drains authority the instant you open your mouth. Part 5. The trap. Sorry. Count how many times you've done this. Someone interrupts. And you breathe out. Sorry. Go ahead. It feels polite and safe, and it is quietly destructive. In that moment, you're not just apologizing. You're asking permission to exist in the conversation. You're teaching others that their words deserve space while yours can be brushed aside. No one can diminish you without your consent, and sorry is how we often sign the consent form. Picture a workplace exchange. Your idea gets clipped. You reply, sorry, continue. In an instant, your influence thins. You shift from contributor to background noise. Or at home, you share something personal. You're cut off, and you say, sorry, please finish. The pattern takes root, not because people are cruel, but because you trained them to step over your voice. Stoic practice prizes calm brevity, not surrender. Composure persuades more deeply than anger. Yes, but composure is not capitulation. The danger of sorry isn't weakness in one tiny moment, it's the slow erosion of presence over time. If you keep reinforcing the story that your words can wait, people will believe you. So what should replace it? A phrase just as short and even more powerful. Part 6. The alternative. Listen. There's more. Here is the quiet counterpunch to interruption. Listen. There's more. Try it in a meeting. You share a thought. Someone jumps in. You lift your eyes. Keep your tone level, and say, listen. There's more. The interruption loses steam. Why? Because you've made two things clear. Your thought is unfinished. And it carries weight. Use it in friendships. You open up. A friend pivots to their own story. Instead of disappearing, lean slightly forward. Listen. There's more. The effect is subtle and profound. You're reminding them your voice isn't noise, it's substance. Substance invites listening. It also preserves the relationship. You're not accusing. You're guiding the moment back to completion. Even in long relationships, interruptions often come from comfort, not malice. If you meet them with constant sorry, the habit deepens. If you answer with, listen, there's more, you reclaim space without hostility. This is the discipline of speech, not only mastering silence, but directing it, turning the room's quiet back toward your words. Over time, people learn that when you're speaking, completion is part of the rhythm. For quick practice, try this mini drill. 1. Say your point in one sentence. 2. If interrupted, pause one beat. 3. Listen, there's more. 4. Finish with one important clause and one now clause. Example. Listen, there's more. The important risk is vendor lock-in. Now, let me show the 2 ways we avoid it. This isn't arrogance, it's presence. Sorry shrinks your message. Listen, there's more, expands it. And beyond tactics, these words reveal something larger. Part 7. The Stoic Lesson. At the core of Stoicism is a simple alignment. Your speech mirrors your character. The way you speak reveals what you believe about yourself. Disciplined speech grows from disciplined thought. Brevity with calm beats volume with heat. Waste no words on what is unnecessary, and refuse to waste your presence. 2. So, remember the sequence. Listen. Claim attention with quiet authority. Important. Define the priority and show why it matters. Now, anchor the moment and make action immediate. Replace, sorry, with, listen, there's more. Stop surrendering your place at the table. This isn't manipulation, it's integrity. It's living in a way that earns respect without demanding it, because the person who embodies respect never begs for it. They carry it. Practice prompt. For the next 48 hours, notice every interruption. Use at least one of the 3 words each time. Track what shifts, tone, timing, outcomes, small signals, repeated, change reputations. Practice these words. Let them reshape how you speak and how others listen. If this brought you value, take a second to like the video so more people can find it. Subscribe to Stoicism Drive for weekly tools to sharpen your mind and your message. Drop a comment with a moment where you used these words, or where you wish you had. And share this with someone who keeps getting interrupted. Let's help them finish their sentence. You've got a voice worth hearing. Listen, important, now. And when someone tries to step over it, listen, there's more.